Hi there, this is Rebs Tries It. This week I'm going to be teaching you tips and tricks on selling your old clothes online. And before you think this is clickbait, I personally have made over £1,000 selling my old clothes online using Vinted with over 150 sales. This is not sponsored by Vinted. I just personally use Vinted as the app for buying and selling clothes as I find it easiest. I've used many different apps out there, including Depop, eBay. However, I found that Vinted is easiest for me because there's no hidden fees for me as a seller. It's the buyer who will pay a Vinted protection fee, which is essentially a selling fee. And the shipping is paid by the buyer and I just get sent the postage label, which means what I list it for is what I'll get, and making withdrawals doesn't have a PayPal fee on top of it. Now, first off, it goes without saying, in order to make money selling your old clothes online, you need to have old clothes that you're okay to sell. Generally, my rule of thumb that I'd give with this is that if there's something that you wouldn't give to a friend, then maybe reconsider whether they're really in a sellable condition. So preferably these are clothes that are either new and not worn, that maybe don't fit you anymore, aren't your style, or something that you're looking at decluttering as you minimalise your wardrobe. Now, there is a market for flipping items, and I have occasionally purchased something, not worn it, and actually ended up selling it for a profit, but I won't be going into the detail of this in this video. This video is going to be split into 5 sections. Firstly, how to set up. Secondly, how to upload items quickly and easily. Thirdly, how to get those items sold. Fourthly, how to send your items in a hassle-free manner. And lastly, how you can get your money and keep making more sales. Now, the first things you want to do is sign up. Vinted does have a desktop version, but I'd actually recommend downloading an app, which is on both iOS and Android. A few things that you want to make sure you do here. Add a profile picture. Putting a face to the seller really helps it feel more authentic and does mean that more people are likely to buy from you. Next, we want to tailor the notifications that you're going to get. So when you click on the notifications section, there's a number of different options for you. The things that I would make sure that you're getting messages for are if someone likes one of your items, as well as if there's any replies or messages that you're getting. Next, I'd recommend setting up bundles. What bundles are is if a buyer is looking at selling one or more of your items, they'll actually get a discount. Now, these can start off really low. It could be, for example, 3 items, you get a 5% discount. However, I found that I usually up it a little bit more. So perhaps up to a 30% discount if someone is buying 5 or more items. Now, this is important because when someone likes one of your items, they're going to be shown other items that might be of interest. If you do have bundles on, it'll be really clear that buying additional items will mean a discount for them, and often results in you having multiple items within one sale. Next, we're going to customize shipping preferences. So as you can see, there's lots of different ways that you can ship with Vinted that buyers can select. However, you can actually turn off the ones that you don't want. I'd recommend this. I found that buyers don't really differentiate between the different shipping services. However, for you, it can be really time consuming if you have 5 different stores you have to go to, or if you have a shipping method which actually isn't very close to your home. A Royal Mail I wouldn't actually recommend because you have to buy the postage label yourself. So really have a think about how many services you're willing to ship through and which ones. And remember, you can always take a break. There's a really handy feature called holiday mode, which will hide all of your items and mean that buyers can't buy items during those time periods. This is really great if you're going on a holiday. Next, I'm going to talk you through how to upload items. Now, the first thing that I'd recommend having is a bag or box for items that you want to list and a bag or box for items that you have listed to try and keep yourself organised. This also means that you can sporadically come in and maybe just upload 1 or 2 items when you have time. Now, when uploading items, you want to try and do so consistently. This will notify any followers you have that you've uploaded new items, but I've also found that the algorithm seems to favourably show sellers who upload little and often. I don't have any proof for this, but what I have found is if I've uploaded an item and my other items, which are not the most recently uploaded, will often get likes and end up selling. And what I will always try and do is actually try and have more items be uploaded towards the end of a month, because that's often when people's paydays are, so I'm pushed up in those rankings. Now, some people might tell you to put everything on a mannequin, try everything on, take 20 photos or something. I used to put everything on a mannequin, and there has been times when I've tried things on, but I found it just takes too long. But actually, I think there's a bit of a cost and benefit with the time taken to upload and the likelihood of a sale happening. So what I'd recommend is taking between 3 and 4 good pictures with fairly good lighting. My setup is to have a hanger and hang it on my wardrobe, taking a forward photo, going in and taking a photo of the label, which includes the size, and then taking a photo of the back. What this is, it gives sellers enough information to know if they're interested in this item at all, and they can always message you for additional photos. Now, it is notable that if there is something slightly wrong with your item, so for example there's a slight mark, you really should take a picture of this and make sure you call it out in the description. So I've really honed this to a craft and I can upload an item in less than 1 minute. Next, you want to add some description. So first off, put a title which is fairly descriptive. So you want to make sure you've got the brand, size, colour and any noticeable thing about the cut here. Now to save time, I will always copy and paste this title into the description and add a few other keywords. So for example, if it's a really nice dress, I might say it's perfect for work. Or if it's an interesting top, I might mention that it's got bell sleeves or it can be worn casually as well as when going out. This means that people are searching for particular terms, they might be able to find it. In the description, you can add that you're from a smoke and pet-free home. I've often forgotten to do this in the past and it hasn't really impacted my sales, and actually users will usually ask something they are concerned about, but if you have the time, it's worth adding. Adding the description as I've instructed will make it super easy for you to select the Vinted categories which sellers will filter on. So if you've entered it in the title and also the description, you'll find the brand is often there for you to select from, so you won't have to start typing it in. The same with size and colour. You'll also have to input the condition. Now try and be as honest as you can with this. I'll usually sell things that are new with labels or very good. I try to steer away from new without labels because at that point, how does the seller really know that it is actually new? Now, at the very bottom, there's an option for swaps. Now, what swaps are is that instead of someone purchasing something from you, you agree to send each other an item or potentially a selection of items until the monetary amount is around the same. I always turn this on because often buyers will filter for swaps. And I often find people messaging me saying, would you like to swap? I'll have a look at their wardrobe and sometimes it's something I really want and I will swap. But sometimes there isn't anything, so I'll let them know, I'm sorry, but you're still welcome to buy, and I'll actually find they will buy. And finally, you're going to add a parcel size estimate. Now, there's small, medium, large, and custom. I would steer away from custom because it means you have to do the shipping labels yourself, and it's really nice when Vinted do them. The price differences aren't that much between different sizes, so I'd always steer on the slightly larger size. So a small box is maybe a t-shirt, a pair of shorts, and medium is when we're maybe talking about jackets, a pair of jeans, or something a bit heavier or maybe a bit puffier and voluminous. And finally, you want to enter price. Now, Vinted will offer you some suggestions for what they think it is, but I'd say that you usually want to be towards the slightly bottom end if you're wanting to sell faster, and maybe more towards the top end if you're wanting to get more money, but the sales might come a bit slower. I usually like to think about what I would pay for it myself in a charity shop, and those are the kind of prices that I usually go for. And remember that if you have bundles on, you might want to put it up slightly more, realising that the price might come down. And also, as I'll mention in the next section, you might want to be making offers to sellers. If you allow yourself a little bit more, just £1 or £2, you can quite comfortably say, actually, instead of £20, I'll sell this for 18. So now you've uploaded your items, how are we actually going to sell them? Well, in the setup, we turned on notifications that if someone likes the item, we're going to get a message. And this is the first way that you can try and increase your sales. Whenever someone likes one of your items, respond. Send them a quick message, letting them know that you're open for questions and that you have bundles on. Additionally, if it's an item that you're trying to sell quickly, you can always just send them an offer straight off the bat. This can really be any discount you want. I'll usually lean towards 50p to a couple of pounds, just so they re-look at the item and maybe think about purchasing it. And actually, I'd say around 1/5 of the time this offer gets accepted straight away. Often buyers really appreciate this, and even if they're not buying that particular item, I found that a couple of them have followed me and then at a later date bought a different item. Now there's 2 other tricks here to try and get someone to buy. One option is if they're looking interested but on the fence, you can offer to reserve the item, which means it's hidden from other people. They've got rights over that item and no one else can buy it for a certain amount of time that you set. I find this often encourages people into buying. Secondly, it can be worth having a quick look at their profile and see where they live. If they live nearby, for example in the same city or town, you could offer for them to do a pickup instead, either at your home or a mutual location, or even I'll deliver it to their door. And actually I found for a few buyers this has been really useful because they're saving on the shipping costs. They buy the item right there and then. So now that you've sold the item, what next? So the first thing that I'll do is thank the buyer for purchasing the item and advise them when I'm going to be sending it. How do you send it? And make it quick and easy for yourself. First thing I'd recommend is saving your packaging from all the parcels that you get. This means that when you sell an item, you can just go into the packaging you already have and just place it in there without actually having to go and spend more money on additional packaging, which you really do not want to do. Next, you want to package your item. Pick up this packaging, put your item in and tape it up. You'll also want to download the shipping label, which is automatically generated by Vinted. So when you've sold the item, you can go in, say generate shipping label, and the shipping label is sent to you. You can print this off and stick it on top of the box, and then you can simply drop it where you need to according to the postage methods that you've applied. Now finally, how do you get your money and continue making more sales? Now, you may find the first few sales are a bit slow because you don't have any reviews, but as you've sold a couple of items, you'll hopefully be getting 5-star reviews, and you'll very quickly find that people are buying your items faster and faster. Now, you won't actually get your money until the buyer has received their item and confirmed it's okay. When they buy the item, the money goes into a Vinted holding account, which means that Vinted essentially have that money, meaning that if there's any dispute, they can act as a mediator. So once the buyers confirm the item is okay, then that money is going to be released from your pending balance into your balance. And this is when you can now withdraw it to your bank account. This is super easy. All you need to do is put your bank details in, press withdraw, and the money is with your account. You also want to make sure that you're leaving feedback for your buyers. I'd always recommend doing 5 stars unless there's something really off about the buyer. And I usually put something on the lines of saying, great buyer. It doesn't need to be more detailed than that. The buyer will similarly be writing a review for you, which is why you want to make sure that you've been really good throughout this process. Now, if the buyer doesn't do it, I wouldn't worry too much. You'll get an automatic 5-star review 3 days after they've confirmed everything's okay. Sometimes it's worth sending a quick thanks and also mentioning that they can follow you because you're uploading items regularly, or you will be uploading more items like this in the future. Now, you can also try and increase the number of your sales by participating in forums. In these forums, you'll often find there's a section for people that are looking at buying something. People might post a photo, such as an inspiration photo, and say, does anyone have anything like this? And then you can reply if you do. Or you can more proactively advertise yourself, letting people know that you have new items uploaded or that you're selling bundles. I personally haven't had a huge amount of success from this, just the amount of time to do this can be really extreme. But if you have the time, it can be worth it, and it can be a good way to get those initial sales. Next, remember that it doesn't have to just be clothes, there's also homeware and other things you can sell. I haven't forayed into this too much, but I have sold the odd book on Vinted and it's gone very well. And actually I found it to be a little bit better than the likes of Gumtree. If you want, you can also pay money to have a wardrobe spotlight or bump certain items. A wardrobe spotlight means that as people scroll through, they'll get recommended your profile. Usually your top 5 most liked items will show on this. Bumping items will raise the profile of particular items. Now, both of these I find to be a fair amount of money, and I have tried it in the past and it has generated sales, but I wouldn't really say it's worth it. Maybe if you're selling high-end designer items. There is one more way that you can make money that you can use to buy more items: Vinted credit through referral links. I have mine linked below. Once you've signed up, you can send your own referral link to friends and family. Now this is really good because if they sign up and just upload 3 items within the first week, then you're going to get some credit you can use for your own purchases. And if they manage to sell items, you get even more credit. I also think it's a good idea to occasionally just try buying some items that you're looking to fill your wardrobe with, so you can feel the end user experience as a buyer on Vinted, which will probably help make you become a better seller. Finally, enjoy the process. You're clearing things out of your wardrobe and you're making money at the same time. Sounds pretty good to me. Comment down below if you have any tips and tricks to add, or if there are any that you found particularly useful. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more videos coming soon. I've seen so many sellers take a picture of shoes to sell them, and all they've done is taken a picture of the box and there's actually no symbol of the shoes. So someone's just browsing through trying to find the pair of shoes they like. Are they going to like pairs that they can actually see what the pair is, or are they going to take the extra 30 seconds to click on your listing with the white box, see what the shoes actually are and go out? They're not. They're going to click based on that first photo.